Fifth grade. Today we're going to be working on lesson 21 for module 2. So today we're going to be working on division, and with this kind of division, we are going to be moving into bigger numbers. So now instead of just being 2-digit by 2-digit, we're dividing a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. So it's a little bit different, but it's still the same concept that you've been learning. And you're just going to be having to do a couple of extra steps along the way. So just making sure that you're keeping track of what you're doing. But I think you'll do really well because all of our lesson 20 extra tickets were fantastic. So let's go ahead and get started with this first one. So we have 256 divided by 47. So go ahead, make sure you set up this problem correctly. Remember the first factor, 256, has to go inside the box. And I divided by 47. Now this should be one of those things where if I wanted to estimate it, I could think of it as like 250, maybe divided by 50, because I can easily round those numbers. Remember, you can break the rules when you estimate sometimes. And I could think of, I can cross off the zeros, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. So that might be a good estimate of what my quotient is. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. So up in the quotient, I'll put 47 goes into 256 5 times. So I'll put a 5 up there. And now I have to figure out what 47 times 5 is. Remember, you can put that multiplication symbol there to remind you that you need to multiply. So I'm going to do 47 times 5 off to the side as a standard algorithm just to help me figure out what that is. 7 times 5 is 35. And then 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 plus 3 is 23. So my answer is 235. If I wanted to check and see if I could do a number bigger, like a factor larger, I could do 47 times 6. 7 times 6 would be 42, and then 4 times 6 is 24, plus 4, which is 28. So I get an answer of 282, which is too large, is larger than 256. So 235 would be a good answer. So 47 times 5 is 235. So I will put that right here. And then I'll go ahead and subtract. So 6 minus 5 is 1, 5 minus 3 is 2, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So my final answer is going to be 5, remainder 21. And that is your final answer. So you should have been following along with me on this problem. This problem was a nice, easy one because I just had to complete this one step. And then I got my final answer. Now, if I want to check this, I need to do 47 times 5. We said that that was 235. And then I need to do 235 plus 21. Now, a lot of you, what I've seen some of you doing is you write 235 plus 21, and automatically you assume it's going to be this number. I'm going to have you guys change it up because sometimes you won't get a remainder that makes sense because you did your subtraction wrong. And you'll still say that it equals that number just because you're so used to writing it like that. So I'm going to have you guys start setting it up like this. So you actually have to add those two up vertically so we can try to get that right answer. So 5 plus 1 is 6, 3 plus 2 is 5, and then 2 plus 1 is 2. So I get my final answer 256, which matches this right here. So I know that I am correct. So that is the first problem. Now we're going to move on to the next one after I get this erased. And we are going to take a look at 236 divided by 39. So when we get to these bigger numbers, it's important to start estimating just because it's going to help us out with figuring out what the problem is. So for this one, I'm going to help you with the estimate step. And then after that, you're going to pause the video and try to do the division on your own. So we're going to do 236 divided by 39. I'm going to look at this 3. I'm going to round that up to 40. And then I know that I could do like 24 divided by 4. So I'm going to round this up to 240. Sorry, 240 divided by 40. 0 is 24 divided by 4 is 6. So 6 might be a good number up here to have in my quotient. So I'm going to try that out first. So when I come up here, I'm going to have 39 times 6. Remember, 6 has to be all the way over here because I'm not saying that 39 goes into 2 6 times. I'm not saying that 39 goes into 23 6 times. I'm saying that 39 goes into 236 6 times. On to the side, I'm going to do the math for that. Please don't just guess these numbers. 9 times 6 is 54, and then 3 times 6 is 18, and 18 plus 5 is 23. So 234 works perfectly. If I added any more, I know for sure that that would be way over 236, so I'm not going to worry about that because there's only like a difference of 2 between these two numbers. So I'm going to write 234 right here. And then I'm going to do 6 minus 4, which is 2. 2 minus 3 is 0, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So I have 6 remainder 2 as my final answer. Make sure you check your work to see if you got all of this correct. And then we're going to check our answer. So again, I'm going to do 39 times 6, which we already know is 234 from earlier. And then I'm going to do 234 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6, 3, 2, and I get 236, which matches this right here. So I know that I am correct. Let's go ahead and move on to the next problem. Remember, if you have any questions, please make sure you raise your hand. All right, for our next problem, we have 369 divided by 46. I would like you to try this problem on your own. So you're going to do the estimate step so that you can figure out what your quotient is going to be. And then you're going to solve and check on your own as well. And you can unpause this video once you have this solved. All right, so for our estimate stuff, so I'm going to do 369 divided by 46. I'm going to round 46 up to 50, and then I'm going to think what multiple of 5 is really close to 36. I could do 35 or 350 crosses that. 35 divided by 5 is 7. And I'll see if 7 will be a good quotient for this problem. So I'm going to put 7 up in the quotient, and then I'm going to multiply 46 times 7 and see if that will work for me. So we're going to set up a standard algorithm for 46 times 7. 6 times 7 is 42. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 4 is 32. So I have 322. Now I'm going to multiply by 8 just in case that will fit in because it is kind of close. So I'm going to see what that looks like. So I have 46 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 4 is 36. And that is a really good reason for why I checked it, because this is 368. That'll actually still fit in there. So with your estimates, sometimes your estimates will be really, really close, but it won't be the actual answer that you're looking for. So for example, if I were to do this problem, I would have 322. So if I were to think that 7 is my actual answer, I would have 46 times 7, which is 322. I would have subtracted, and I would have gotten a remainder of 47. Now, the reason why the remainder of 47 is not going to work for me is because if you think about it, can 46 still fit into 47? It can, because 46 is less than 47. So if this number is ever less than the remainder, you can still keep going. And that means that you pretty much just need to add 1 to this and then remultiply and figure out what your new quotient is supposed to be and what your new remainder is actually supposed to be. So remember, if you ever get this number less than your remainder, you have to go back and try a new quotient, because if you had a remainder of 47, that wouldn't make any sense. So let's go back a couple steps. So instead of the 7, I'm going to try an 8. And I said that 46 times 8 is 368. And then I'm going to subtract, and then I know that 9 minus 8 is 1, and then the rest will be zeros. My final answer would be 8 remainder 1. Now, when I come back over here, I'm going to do my check step. So that would be 46 times 8, which equals 368. And then I'll do 368 plus 1, which is 369. And that would be my final answer because I can tell that it matches up there. Let's go ahead and work on your very last problem, and then I'll give you your problem set. Remember, if you have any questions, please make sure you ask. So for our very last problem, we have 712 divided by 94. Go ahead and pause the video, do the estimate step, do the actual solving step, and then check and unpause the video then and see what your answer is compared to mine. So we have 712 divided by 94. So I'm going to estimate over here. So I'm going to round this 94 down to 90. And I'm going to think of what multiple of 9 is really close to like 71. Well, I know that I could do 9 times 8, and I could get 72. So I'm going to try that. So I'm going to have 720 divided by 90. I'm going to cross out those zeros, and 72 divided by 9 is 8. So I'm going to try that factor of 8 for my quotient. We'll see if that works. If it doesn't work, then I can always go back and fix it. So I'm going to put that 8 up here. And you can kind of see why using the estimate step for these bigger numbers is going to help you out a lot, because if you start at 1 and you kind of like slowly make your way up to that 8, it's going to take you a very, very long time. But if you use that estimate step, you'll get to your answer a lot faster. So that's why we use that estimate step. So 94 times 8 is, I'll have to do a standard algorithm for this. I do 94 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32, so I carry the 3 and I leave the 2. 9 times 8, we said, is 72, and 72 plus 3 is 75. So this is actually going to be way too big. So we're going to have to drop it down a notch and see if we can get a better answer. And the reason why that happens is because I have a 94 right here. So it's not just a 90. When I round it down to 90, I'm taking off a few numbers, and that's really going to make a difference later on, this 4 right here. So instead of that 8, I'm going to take it down one more because my answer right here is way too big. I'm going to take it down by 1, and I'm going to try to multiply this by 7 instead. So let's try by 7. So I'm going to do 94 times 7. So 4 times 7 is 28. So I carry the 2, I leave the 8. 9 times 7 is 63. 63 plus 2 is 65. So 658 does work. So I'm going to put that right here. So remember, I put 94 times 7, 658, and then I have to go ahead and subtract. I can't do 2 minus 8, so I'm going to have to cross that out and borrow from the other number. So this now becomes a 0, and this becomes a 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. Now I come to the 0 minus 5. I can't do that. I have to cross out this 0, cross out that 7. This becomes a 6, and then this becomes a 10. And then 10 minus 5 is 54, and 54 works as a remainder because 94 cannot fit into 54. So out of 7, remainder 54. After that, I need to check my answer. So I'm going to do 94 times 7 equals 658. And then 658 plus 54 should equal 712. So 8 plus 4 is 12, 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 1 is 11, and then 1 plus 6 is 7. I get 712, so I know my answer is correct. For today, your problem set is going to be B through F, and you're doing word problem number 4. So B through F, and then word problem number 4. Make sure you circle down those problems. If you don't know the page numbers, remember you're looking for lesson 21 in your Learn books. And then for homework tonight, you're going to be doing B through F again, and you're going to be doing all the word problems. There's word problem 2 and word problem 3. So make sure you circle all of those problems for tonight. Keep up the great work, fifth grade. Remember, if you need any help or you have any questions, please make sure to raise your hand and ask.